Welcome back, everybody, to the Looney Farm Guy show for part two of our episode with our good friend Brian Brou, royalty. And he's going to continue to abuse this little Ferguson tractor with this plow. If you are a content creator and want to join me on this show, drop a line, drop a comment, let me know, and we will do our best to arrange something. Now, back to the show. We're just talking away here.
Too much chit chat.
Yeah. So what we were talking about was the possibility or the prospect, shall we say, of larger maps.
Larger maps, yeah.
Now, with the slot so I was saying with the slot count being, especially even PS4, over double the available slots. And what was interesting was that things take less slots.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you? What's the roadblock to bigger maps? Then that's what kind of makes me wonder.
The Millennium Fair map, did you get a chance to have a quick look at that? I think it was the Millennium Fair map. Did you ever come across that one, Looney Farm Guy?
I think I had it. I think I tried it out. I can't. I don't really.
Can you remember? It was the big, huge American map.
Yeah.
It was like 4 or 5 fields, but the big thing was the shop was actually outside the map. You had to actually travel outside the map.
That's right. I remember that.
So how did they get outside the map without, breaking the whole system?
Yes, that's right. I remember that. It was kind of it's like, yeah, it was very strange. Is it still like that? I mean, I don't know. Did they?
I haven't played it since, but I think it is. It definitely got an update afterwards. But I think, the shop, I think, was still outside the map.
Yeah. And then there was a map that got released, I want to say it was about a month or two ago. That was actually, it was a 4X map, but it was kind of very long and narrow.
Right.
But it was definitely way bigger than the standard map. I don't know if you remember that.
No, that one completely missed by now.
Unless you downloaded it right away, it got removed pretty fast.
Right.
I downloaded it, and then the problem with that map was you couldn't save a game on it.
Oh, I do remember that now. That's after I remember they were talking about it, but I cannot for the life of me remember the name, but I do remember them talking about that map.
Yeah, because I played a little bit, and it's like, oh, that's cool, and I went and I saved it, and then I left, and then next time I went back to go in, it was corrupted, or it wouldn't let me.
Yeah,
it was game save corrupted, so that, and then really shortly after that, it got removed. So.
Have you found any other quirks on maps? I can certainly tell you about one that I found that I don't think anyone else found, but have you found any quirks on maps now that something strange happens that,
Off the top of my head, I can't. But every map seems to have something like that.
Yeah, well, I found now on Alien Jim's map, Spectacle Island. What I did was I downloaded it straight away because I thought it was an amazing map, and I didn't realize that it had already been out before because, I hadn't got the FS19, so I was setting up a Let's Play, and I was driving from the shop across the water because you could. It said don't drive too deeply, but it didn't. You didn't get swamped. You could drive across the water. And and I'd get all the vehicles across, and everything was fine. And then all of a sudden, I'd save the game and come out and come back in, and 4 or 5 of the vehicles would be missing. And I did it a couple of times, and I said to myself, "What is happening here? Like, this is unreal." And I couldn't figure it out at all. And then I said to myself, right, the common denominator here is me going across the water. Stop going across the water. And as soon as I stopped going across the water, everything was fine. I mean, like, the front loader for a bucket would be missing. Random things, like your mower would be missing the next time you went in. Totally random stuff. So, but I learned my lesson. Stop taking, well, I didn't really. I still take shortcuts, but... And I don't think that happened to anyone else, because I contacted I contacted Driver 53 and DJ Goham about it just to see had anyone else spotted it, and no one else had any issues. So, and I love Alien Jim's maps. If it was an issue, I'd still played it because I think he's a fantastic map maker. But I think it was just something to do with maybe a mod that I had downloaded that was causing some sort of weird glitch.
Yeah, and I think I don't know. I've had issues on maps before that no one else seems to have. But then if it's sometimes I would like go out and reload, like reboot my game and go back in, and it didn't happen. So it's kind of, it always, for me, it's always like, well, is it me or is it the map or?
Yeah. That's more back to what we were saying earlier about, you have to give everything a fair go. You can't just, like, I couldn't just go onto Spectacle Island and say, my front loader is missing. This is the worst map in the world. Sure. Of course, it was something I was doing.
It could be, yeah, and they don't really and sometimes you never really do find out.
Yeah, what I normally do in that situation is go out onto my installed mods and start deleting them one by one to see what the problem is, which when you have about 500 million mods installed, it can get a bit of a job, all right, but
usually it's it's either it's a conflict with something you just downloaded.
Yeah, for sure. And I absolutely love Alien Gym maps. I love it. Sussex Farms is probably my favorite map. I really love playing his maps. Now, in particular, if Alien Jim was bringing out a map in the morning, I wouldn't be able to contain my excitement, because I just think he's brilliant at what he does.
Yeah, I have a bit of an affinity for Kaz64, his maps.
Oh yeah, and everyone is playing his new map. Is it New Zealand? No.
The Kiwi, not Kiwi Island.
Farm, is it?
Old Kiwi Farm, I think it's called. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did a series on that.
Everyone is raving about that one.
For me right now, it's what has the map maker put in there that's extra or something special, just your map has, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he always has little, like, extra stuff in his maps. Whether it be extra crop types, which is, he always has extra different crops, and then just little bits of every, just they're not just a paste and a copy paste kind of stuff. He puts a lot of thought into his maps.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he names some of his sell points after his friends and people who have helped out testing the map and stuff like that. So that's a lovely touch.
Yep. If you look on the Luca's Island, so apparently Luca is his grandson or something like that, a very close relative, and so he named it after him. And then if you look at the contracts on Lucas Island. They're all the skipper, Marianne, from Gilligan's Island,
Gilligan's Island, yeah.
from the TV show from the '60s, Gilligan's Island. So they're Mr. Howell, Mr. and Mrs. Howell is on. It's like so it's stuff like that. Yeah, uh, all very yeah. So things like that. Not to say that some of these other maps, because Ninja Kurt, he's the one that made the mod test map,
Yeah.
and that's the one
What a
I.
brilliant idea, like.
Yes, and I love it. I've set up a mod testing basically facility there for doing like
And
if I just want to
yeah,
go in there and test something, right?
yeah, and I'm very surprised that more of the mod testers don't actually kind of use it.
Yeah,
Mr. CDP downloaded it. He used it once, and then he said, "Actually, I'm going to go back to Alien Jim's No
No
Man's Land."
Man's Land. Yeah, I th- and you know I hesitate to say. Okay, I'm just going to say it. I think that's because he just likes Alien Jim, and
Yeah, they're good friends. They are
and
good
he wanted
friends.
to support him. So, which is
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, that's fine. That's 100% in my book. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean that's good, and it's not like he said anything really bad about it that I remember.
No, no, he just said he was going to continue on No Man's Land, and they're really good friends, I think. And from what I know and from what I see of Alien Jim, he seems like a really good guy. In fairness.
Yeah, you know what, and to be fair, if you have something, I mean, when you set up a map to do something on it, you've invested a lot of time and effort into do something, and then just to change to something else is you're going to start all over again. So, I mean, I know DJ, he's on what's that? Um, he does all his mod reviews on that. Oh, which map is it now? I can't remember the name.
Oh, I've seen it so many times and I can't.
Yeah, but it's that he uses a particular map because he's set it up on
Yeah,
there to do his thing, and that's it's the way it is. So, but
and Alien
but
Jim put in the little switch that you could flick to change the farm to Mr. CDP's farm on
mm,
Spectacle Island. So, I mean, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't
yeah,
you
oh yeah,
showcase his map?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's yeah. I mean, and you're going to form friendships and alliances. I guess you could say alliances, or you're going to like people who like John Deere. They're going to run John Deere equipment,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
does that make Case or Fent bad? Not
No.
necessarily. It just means someone has a preference for a brand or someone's handiwork, and they decided to back or support them. And why not, right? If you like a certain product or something like that, you're going to be
You're going to endorse it, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
I know, yeah, I definitely, sure, yeah, everyone has their own YouTubers who they kind of follow along, and you know, you meet kind of good guys, and you gravitate towards them rather than the guys who you just ordinarily wouldn't get along with, like.
yeah, and
Of course,
everybody.
that's natural.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I think especially with the YouTube thing, everybody, and that's what makes it great too. Is everybody has a little different style. It's not all the same stuff right across. So you can find someone that um, that that you like, And you're not going to like
Yeah.
everybody. That's the way it is. Not everyone's going to like my stuff. Not everyone's going to like your stuff. I don't like everybody's stuff. I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
there's
Yeah.
some guys that I like to listen to, and other guys that I'm not so partial to, and that's just the way it is. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
that they're any better or worse than someone else. It's just they're
Yeah.
just doing it a little different. So
And no, here's another question for you. Are you
mm,
excited for FS22?
I'm
Or are you pumping on the brakes like Giants told you to?
well. I am cautiously optimistic, shall we say,
Right.
because I don't. It, for me, anytime there's been, and it's happened to me more than several times, is there's a new game coming out and you get all pumped and you get just over the top, and it comes out and then you're disappointed at some point. It's like it
Yeah.
never lives up to the hype. So I it is the next step. So it's going to have its, like we were talking to before. It's going to have some of its glitches. It's going to have some of its growing pains. But overall,
Yeah.
it's the next step in the evolution of the game, and it's if it doesn't happen, then the game will die. Basically, eventually it'll die. That's kind of the way video games evolved, or that's the natural progression. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm actually more looking forward to the possibilities of where it could go. I think with what we know, there's, even though they haven't told us much, there's a lot of, they haven't, see, the precision farming, they've said yeah it's going to be, but they haven't said anything about what it's going to be,
Yeah.
and that's a whole aspect of the game that has totally changed this game if you use it.
Yeah.
Um,
I shied away from it at the first because it seemed very complicated. But now I've started to use it. It's so simple.
it is. It's like the only thing I don't like about it is the soil sampling.
Yeah.
So it's but what I've kind of discovered is if you use it in conjunction with seasons, it mitigates that constantly soil sampling your fields, because your crop turnover is slowed down because of
Exactly. Yeah.
seasons. So it makes it a little bit more of a
It
realistic, I
turns
guess
it.
you could
Yeah.
say.
It turns it into what it should be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because yeah, I do generally run it with seasons.
yeah.
Just for that reason alone, that it just works better with it. But yeah, I shied away from it for a while. I said, oh look, I'll leave it. And actually, with Port Limbo now, it was the one thing I said I was going to do it, and then when I got down there, I realized, well, you're doing vintage machinery, but there's no vintage scout. So
Oh,
I just we just have to let that one slide, I guess.
yeah. Well, I'm of the mind that it's a game. I always say it. It's a
Yeah,
game, right? That's something I've kind of chosen to be my tagline, I guess you could say, or whatever. It's a game. You're supposed to have fun with it, right? It's supposed to be
exactly.
fun. If it's not fun anymore, then why are you doing it?
Yeah,
So there's going to be things that it's like like you're running a vintage farm, but you have this it's this fancy fandangled soil sampling thing. It's like, okay, well, you know what? let's just pretend that's part of it and move on, right? And
Exactly.
let's have some fun with it, right?
Exactly.
So, and there's always going to be somebody. Oh, well, that's not good. There's going to be somebody out
That's
there
not vintage.
that's going to say, well, that's not vintage, that's not right, or whatever. And I don't care.
Yeah, well,
Like, if you don't like it, you don't have to watch, right? I mean, it's at
yeah,
some
exactly.
point you have to be kind of like that. And I've noticed. I'm sorry, I'm kind of kind of dominating the conversation here,
This
but
is your platform. I'm just here as a guest. I'm
you
only
are
here
my
as a
guest,
guest.
though.
You
Yes.
go for it. You go for it. I'm totally. I was just about to say there as well. Myself and my friends started a vintage car club here in Ireland, and it's been going since 2013.
Nice.
And the last time we had a show, a car from 2005 won a prize. So
Huh.
vintage is, I guess vintage
In the
is
eye of the beholder.
exactly. So I'm sure people, when you say vintage, they think 1920s, and other people think 1980s. And some people now are thinking the noughties, the zero zeros. Like,
Mm-hmm.
years are moving on, so you've got to have that little bit of, you're going to look beyond the numbers and just, as you say, enjoy the game. If someone is doing something and they color a little bit outside the lines, don't harass them for it. Just enjoy it. Get on with it. Have fun. I
Yeah.
say as I'm missing half the spots here with the plow.
I think the cedar I'm using is a direct drill, anyways. So.
Is it? Oh, brilliant! I'll just lift the plow and drive around the fields.
Oh yes.
Whee!
Well, so the reason kind of I kind of brought that up in a way is I'm sure we all watch Mr. Sealy P and what he does, and he recently started doing other things other than farm sim.
Yeah.
He's done Snow Runner before, and he's kind of started that up again. But he was doing some Far Cry, and aside from, well, it's quite different than some of his other stuff, right? And he was getting some flack
Right.
for doing it, and he seemed quite concerned about it. Actually, I don't know if you caught that.
I didn't watch his Far Cry stuff now, not because I'm against it or anything. It's just I kind of watch I watch your videos. I watch John Lennon, Rabbit Rob. I've been watching Delsa.
Yeah, there's
I
so many to
gravitate
watch.
towards the farm sim stuff. When he released the farm sim video, I watch it. So even SnowRunner, I watched one or two, and I was like, yeah, look, yeah, that's grand. I just don't. It's not my thing, so I'm just like, yeah, it's fine. But I wouldn't attack him over it. But yeah, I've definitely noticed.
Yeah, but that's
'Cause
just the point. You wouldn't leave a message saying, "What are you doing? Or how come you're doing this?"
No,
Right?
but he seems to get a lot of slack, and flack from everyone because I think it's just because he's too nice. I
Um,
think they see him as a soft target.
that's possible. I don't know. Well, he has 80,000 something subscribers.
I guess yeah. If you have 80,000 pebbles in a pool, 4 or 5 of them are going to be sharp like.
Yeah, that's a very yeah. I like that expression. You're exactly right. So you're always going to get somebody in a group of people that's going to be a negative Nanny and poop on your parade, no matter what that is, right? So and yeah, and he is such a nice guy. He is like he come at least he comes. I mean, I'm sure he is. He comes across as very
He definitely comes across, and I love his style where it's just playing. It's not, 2 minutes of this and then a time lapse and then 4 minutes of this and then not saying anything, just playing a song. And I love the chat. That's what I like. I like it's like your mod review video. It's not our mod review, but as you're going around, you're chatting, you're explaining what it does. You know what I mean? It's not just, well, here's a red trailer, and it costs 10 grand, and here's a blue tractor, and it costs. There's a bit to it. I like that. I enjoy those where you get to kind of watch someone, but they're talking a story, telling you the story, and that's kind of the way I like to make my videos as well. That I'll be talking rubbish.
Oh yeah, just is exactly what we're doing right now, right?
Exactly.
It's something different because there's a ton of, and I wanted to do something a little different than what was out there, and there's a bunch of YouTubers that you can watch and see what the mods are, and like you say, this is a blue tractor, and this is how much it costs, and this is how many slots, and it's like, which is great because I watched them,
Yeah.
because it's good information, but why would I do something exactly like that? There's already
Exactly.
a bunch of people doing that. So for the most part, it's like I wanted to just show, it's like what does it do? Does it actually, do the workers we talked about this before, do the workers like
Yeah.
it? Does it really do what it's like today? That there was a little 2.5 meter cultivator that it was not working for me, and I watched the other two, Mr. Sealy P and DJ do it, and they didn't say anything about it. So I'm kind of wondering, well, is it just me that it's not working for? Was there something I was doing? And because I tried several different ways. I tried different tractor on it, and then I tried the worker, and the worker kind of did make it work eventually. And it's like, what? So I don't know. So stuff like that, right? You come across, you just, when you start using things, that's when you start discovering.
Exactly. It's like
Um,
I watched so many people using the little vintage Fendt GT. I was like, you can pick up the attachments and put it under the
mhm.
tractor. It's small, and I was for ages going, it's too small, and I wouldn't be, I'm not really interested in all that. And I put it onto my vintage Let's Play now on Port Limbo. It's the first time I've ever downloaded it. It's the first time I was ever going to use it, and it's brilliant.
You
And
like it, eh?
that's the thing. Yeah, it's so good, yeah. It has everything. But
Yeah,
I until you start using something, you just don't know how it's going to work. I turned my nose up to it, kind of a thing, until I tried it. And now that I tried it, I love it. And that can be
cool.
the way definitely with mods, and it can definitely be the way with maps. I definitely
Oh,
did the same
yes.
thing. I definitely did the same thing with Rasavet. I don't know if you know that one. It's kind of like to me, it reminded me of a Ukrainian map or a Russian map or something like that.
Eastern
But
European for sure.
I absolutely loved going down to try and get the sand out of the forest because the
Oh,
sand was
yes.
so heavy. Oh, it was so much fun. I loved that. It was obnoxiously heavy. Like if you put a ton of it into the trailer, you needed 500 horsepower to try and pull it. Like,
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I've don't think I played. Yeah, I know Mr. Sealy P did a series,
that's
did a
right. And
Rasowitz series on it.
if you ever get the chance to, I don't know if you have the capacity, but just go on and drive out of the shop and drive down to the sandpit down in, you have to buy the little sandpit, but once you buy it, you can get the sand out of it. And just go down there with a front loader and try and pick up a bucket of it. It's
Or is there a
impossible.
loader there that isn't there a loader that, or do you have to get a loader?
I think you have to buy your own because I brought down a huge big truck and here I was merrily filling away. I filled the trailer I filled it up to the top. I, I was there for about an hour and a half trying to get out of it, and of course I'd never give in. I wouldn't give in. Like, I eventually got out of it, but I thought to myself, I might just take a half load next time.
Yeah, yeah,
It was just
I've
the weight that was in it was just incredible. You know, when you had a trailer load of it, you knew you had a trailer load of it. There was no getting around it. Like,
Yeah, see, that's yeah, I like that with a map where they'll put something in there like that,
yeah,
and yeah, it's like, oh yeah, well, sand's heavy. Well, it is, yeah. It's
yeah.
rock, right? It's just
Oh
powder
yeah.
rock.
Oh my God. This yeah. You're so used to putting 100,000 liters into a trailer, and you're like, well, yeah, I'll just fill it with 100,000 liters of sand, and then you go and you have an 800 horsepower truck, and you go to move, and it won't move, and you're like, what's going on here? Well, sand is heavy. You
It is
know,
indeed.
that's that. Yeah, I really enjoyed that part of the rest of it, and the obnoxious roads everywhere. It just it would test your metal going everywhere on that map. Um, some of the yeah, definitely FS19 is, you know, it's a brilliant game, like, and I'm so delighted now that I've got to play this multiplayer with you, and you know, I'm so delighted that we got to chat, and I think we met in the Yelsa Farmers probably live stream or somewhere like that, I'd say, or maybe I was
I'm pretty sure,
looking,
yeah.
yeah, because I know with Rabbit Rob I was looking up videos and he popped up. And the same thing happened with Jelsa Farmer. I was looking up some video that he was doing a tutorial, and I was like, yeah, I like this guy. I'll stay watching him. And now, of course, he's live streaming, and he has 1,000 subscribers, you know, and it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, he's aside from the Mr. Sealy P and DJ Goham, Jelsa was pretty much the third person or third well person that I found, and yeah, I kind of immediately liked his style, his the way he played, and the things he was doing there, and he was like very willing to. Like if I left a comment, he would respond to it right away and
Yeah, and that
things like
interaction
that.
is very important
Yeah, and
because
I
it
made a
immerses
couple
you.
of yeah, exactly. It captures your and he asked for some suggestions once, and I gave him one. He used it actually, so it's like, oh, I was all excited, right? Someone's listening to
Yeah,
my suggestion or my question or whatever. So and then yeah, and then that's where it kind of all branched off from there. Met all these other great great people.
yeah,
In
because
with
what happened with me was I was kind of watching a few little bits of his live streams and stuff, and he was telling, you know, he'd always pick JCBs, and he kept going on about how great the JCBs were, and I knew I had a little model JCB telehandler here that I bought, and you know, it came with a pack, and I had no interest in it, and I said to myself, how do I go about asking this fella for his address so I can send him something?
That's right. You're the one who gave it to him.
Yeah, so I just came straight out and I said, look, if you share your address with me, you know, I'm not going to come to Norway. I won't share it with anyone else, but I will send you something. And then he insisted on sending it back, something, and he sent me a feller more for a tractor, and it was absolutely brilliant. But I was kind of only giving it to him because I knew he'd really appreciate it, and it wasn't being appreciated here where it was. But it just turned out then, of course, sure, I got immersed then in all these videos, and but like he's a really good guy as well. You know, he's a great fun, like he's great fun, like, fairness to him.
Yeah, yeah. I remember that whole. I remember how that whole played out. Now I just for some reason I forgot it was you. I guess because when he's it's funny with me. It's like the you know something, but you don't. Your brain doesn't make that connection right away,
Yeah,
and
well, of
so
course, there's so much content now, you can't really remember everything. But that's definitely an awkward thing. Like when you're, you know, me and you, we know each other now online, and I watch all your videos every day, and you know, you watch some of mine, and you know,
all
we're
of them. Yep.
interacting nearly, you know, maybe, yeah, you know, but we're interacting nearly most, you know, it's comments, it's everything. But like, sure, I don't know you from Adam, but like, it's that weird thing where you're like, gosh, you know, he's a good guy, and you know, you just get a good feeling. You're like, yeah, Looney Farm guy, he's a good guy, and you know, you just kind of be like, right, sure, you contacted me then through this messaging, and I didn't know how to do it, and I was like, am I just going to hold you back on all this? But you're looking at us here now, and we're doing multiplayer. It's brilliant. And if I haven't said it enough already, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's entirely my pleasure, of course.
So much fun, like.
Yeah, it's just it adds another dimension to the game that's available, and I don't always do. There's guys that just only do multiplayer. There's guys that don't do multiplayer. It's just another added feature that adds enjoyment to the game in general. I've had a lot more experience with online multiplayer and so forth. Back when I had my Xbox 360, I played a lot of shall we say, other games, not farming
Yeah,
games.
no, I
But you get,
definitely I shied away from all that. Yeah, I
yeah,
just stayed away from all the online stuff. If it was
yeah.
online game only, I just said, I'm not bothered with all that. And I've played some really good games down through the years. I really enjoyed them, but this is the first game now where I'm like, yeah, no, I would like to do this online.
Yes, and the appeal for me is definitely it's. I've always been attracted to the cooperative nature of online play with other people, whatever that may be, and but it's always most for most part online gaming is generally, at least it has been well, it still is now, combat based, right?
Yeah,
And very competitive, and there's a lot of angry people on those kinds of games, shall we say? And creates and it can create a negative atmosphere, and that's kind of what attracted me to this genre was, well, the non-competitive, the cooperative, or just the type of game, I
me,
guess.
it's not. Yeah, it's not me versus you. It's me and you. I think is
Yes,
what
yes, and
That's
there
what's
is
so
no
good about it.
us or us versus them. Even, I mean, you can have cooperative play too, but it's always seems to be a winner and a loser, and us versus them, or something like that. And there is none of that here. This is me and you working
Exactly. Like,
together.
look at me happily ploughing all the fields, and you with your direct drill seeder coming along behind me. And I'm happy. I'm like, yeah, this is brilliant.
So yeah, and like you say, just the atmosphere. It's not a a high tension angry. It's a relaxed. It's a it's just a totally different atmosphere, and that's what kind of attracted me to the well, to the YouTube thing too, right? It's like, hey, these guys seem like they're having a good time. It's pretty, it's relaxed. It's farming.
Yeah,
It's not high tension. It's not a lot of, no, there's no one swearing or yelling at anyone, or
yeah.
and
And there's no need
so
for it. Like, but what made you get into the YouTube and the farming sim? I know for me it was Joseph Farmer maybe, and a few more CBW and all that going. Go home and make a YouTube video. And I was like, sure, how would I even start? And they were like, just do it, don't worry about it. And that's how I got started. I really enjoy it now.
yeah, pretty much me. Definitely Jelsa is an inspiration for me. Not because it's like, if this schmuck can do it, so can I. No, not definitely not that.
No, no, definitely not
But
that.
but it's like, I'm spending a lot of time doing something I enjoy, and so are these guys, and they're making videos and sharing it with people, and it's like, well, I'd like to share the stuff that I enjoy too. And there was things that I was doing playing the game that I didn't see being done.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, it's not that I want to do something exactly like these other guys, which is kind of more or less what we do, but not really, because each of us do something a little different. And if someone else likes to watch that, then that's great. I mean, but I'm having a blast making these videos. It's for me,
And me
it's just
too as well. Yeah, I really love it. Yeah,
it
I
took
really love it.
yeah, and you can tell when someone's having a good time, really, and I can tell when someone's not having a good time too.
Yeah. Now, I definitely have a caveat with my videos lately. We have a new addition to the house, so
Yes.
our little son, I'm getting about 4 hours sleep every day. So if I don't sound as perky and chilled as I always have, it's just the lack of sleep. And of course, my wife then she always says to me like, how are you so different? Because I'm the outdoorsy, sporty guy, but I sit in a room and I play farming simulator, and then in the morning I take my dogs off hunting, and she's like, that doesn't, you're supposed to be one or the other.
Mm. Yeah. Well,
So I think
how?
that's
I
what's
was just
really good about this game as well, because it attracts all types. It's not
yeah,
just yeah.
and I have noticed the demographic is generally shall we say older. Not all old farts, but a
Yeah.
little bit like definitely. There's a couple of guys that are in their 20s, I think, but generally speaking, it's all guys 30 and
uh,
up.
yeah, on the YouTube it is, but where I work, I repair lawnmowers and things like that, so we get a high turnover of people coming into us, and
Oh
you'd
yeah.
be amazed when I see young lads coming in or young girls coming in. I always say, "Have you got a PlayStation or an Xbox?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, I do." And I'd say, "Do you play Farming Simulator?" And then they'd say, "Yeah, I'm playing on this map and I'm doing this." And nearly every kid is playing this. They're
Hmm.
just not making the YouTube videos. So
Hmm. Yeah,
that's
that's
hopefully
interesting.
it's not. Yeah, hopefully that's not something that's just dedicated to Ireland. Like
No,
you
no, it's
know,
funny. It's funny you said that, if I may, because when I went into pre-order Farm Sim 22, I went in there because, generally speaking, for everybody I know, they look at me kind of sideways and wonder if I've lost all my marbles when I tell them what I do. Because even my sister, who I mean, she's probably plays more than I do, or at least um, very close to how much I play. And she's a video game, she's
yeah,
a nut too, right? If you would say it that way. But even she kind of like looked at me a little bit sideways when I told her I was playing a farming game. But so, anyways, back to my story is I go into the video game store. And I was like, "Are you taking?" Because I was going in there expecting them to look at me sideways too. It's like, what are you doing playing farming sim? But anyways, I said, um, can I? Are you taking pre-orders for Farming Sim 22? And it's like, oh yeah, what platform? And so it's like, oh, PS5. And it's like, oh yeah, we there's been quite a lot of interest, or there's been at least you know how memory works. So I'm hearing like, oh yeah, there's a lot of interest in this game. Probably only two or three people maybe went in there, but anyways, uh, um, a lot different reaction than I thought. And so yeah, there is interest building. It seems, it feels like.
Definitely, it definitely feels like the game is on and up. With the whole community. Definitely, for sure, I do feel that, and if it continues the way FS19 was with new mods and new maps coming out, I think it can only get better and better with the new slots and everything. I honestly believe that it will, and I'll be trudging along making my YouTube videos like I always do because I really love it. But I'll also be watching everyone else. So I'll be keeping an eye on you, seeing what new mods come out because I'll be like, right, I have to see what this does before I make a show of myself.
Yeah, that's what kind of actually. If you asked me earlier what I'm excited about, I think that's what I'm kind of right now looking forward to or excited about, and I think that's what I'm going to concentrate on is the mods, the new mods, and how they work in the game, rather than doing a series on a particular map or a scenario.
Yeah,
Because that's everything that I've always. It's like something new comes out. It's like, okay, well, cool, but how does it work? How does it
yeah,
really
yeah.
work when you're using it on your farm? So I think that's going to be my focus.
That's gonna be your special focus, and mine will be just playing away, talking rubbish.
Oh yeah, no,
'Cause,
and I'll watch every minute of it too. So, but
my
that
wife says to me, "I think it's just the accent that they can't understand you, and they're just doing you a favor by watching." I just laugh.
it's funny. See, when you mention accent, for whatever reason, and I don't know why, but I don't have a lot of problem with accents, like as in understanding people who have accent. And yours is you obviously have an accent, but it's not
Yeah, it's
to
not
the
tick.
point. It's not thick to the point where you can't understand anything you're saying. I mean, at least me, it's very clear, crystal clear that know exactly what you're talking about. So, um, and but even with um, people with pretty heavy accents, I usually can do pretty well picking out what. And I don't know
Yeah,
why. I don't know why that is. I've always. I don't know if I've always been like that, but I mean, I've worked. I mean, in the course of my life, you work with different people from all sorts of backgrounds, and maybe it's because see, my grandfather had. I mean, he spoke English, but it was. I wouldn't. I mean, spoke English well, but I mean, his native tongue was Low German.
yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't his first language.
No, and it was he had quite a thick accent because even when they moved here from Russia, it they the area they lived in they moved to here, the whole community was spoke that language. So and there's it's something that's quite common, I understand, is if you get a group of people that move to a different country but they stay together, that language goes with them, and that's their
Yeah,
everyday language. So when they do have to interact with people outside that community, then your English isn't going to be that great, or whatever the language is going to be. So, but anyways, maybe it's just that I grew up being used to hearing, you know, different accents. Anyways,
yeah.
that's
Your ear is tuned into it. Yeah.
yeah, I'm tuned in or tuned out, one or the other.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I understand what you're saying because I'm the exact same. I can talk to someone who has very little English and I can understand them. And I'm actually quite good at picking up languages as well. I can usually be in a country for a day or two and I can understand what they're saying, even though I could never write it. If you spoke to me in German or French, I'd be able to tell you what you're saying. But
Cool.
and even Polish, I can, I'll get the gist of what you're saying. But if you asked me to write it down, I wouldn't have a notion. Italian as well, and of course we speak Irish here, but we don't. Like we are supposed to speak Irish, but everyone speaks English. We're taught Irish, but no one speaks it. Like,
yeah, because here we're well, French is the other official language of Canada, as I'm sure you well know, but
yeah,
and so it's a required course in school up until high school. Did I learn anything? Nah, well, probably not. I probably learned more French watching the French hockey games on TV than I did
I
in school.
suppose.
But
Yeah, pick it up that way.
but it is what it is, I guess. But
Yeah,
that's
and you
cool. I
pick
mean,
up.
I'm not to say that I pick up foreign languages fast either, but that's quite a skill if you can pick up another language like that quickly. That's
Yeah, I remember being in. We were in Vietnam, and I was there maybe 3 or 4 days, and we got a taxi from one of the beaches back home, and we were outside the hotel, and the guy was a Vietnamese guy driving it, and I could hear on the radio that he had gotten a call and he was looking for Da Nang. It's a very famous place. It's where the Americans based their army base over in Da Nang in the town when they were over there. So I
okay.
picked it up and I got the gist that your man was, on a call to Da Nang, and he started looking at his phone. He started looking at maps and everything. And I said to him, Da Nang, and he was like, yeah. And I said, straight down to the roundabout. Take the first turn to the left. Keep going until you see where they make all the statues on the road, and turn left again. And keep going straight, and it'll bring you straight into Da Nang. And my wife was looking at me going, first of all, how did you know what they were saying on the radio? And second of all, we've only been here a few days. How do you know where it is?
That's funny. That's
And off he
amazing.
went, happy as Larry. He hadn't a clue where he was going.
That's wow. Was he from there too, or what?
Yeah, I just assumed maybe he was from a different town or something, and he didn't
Maybe,
really
I
know.
guess.
But I'd been to Da Nang the day before, and I'd hired a motorbike and headed off, so I knew the route, like.
Yeah.
And I was able to tell him, no, we only have a small issue, but it is a small issue, and I'm running out of diesel.
Oh,
And I've been driving up and down through the town here, wondering if there's a petrol station.
oh,
But I guess
you mean in your tractor? You've run her out of fuel already. Wow, we've
Yeah,
got some work done
we're
then.
we're down to the quarter tank, but sure, I guess look, we're probably heading towards the end of this episode anyway.
We're running up on 52 minutes already.
Yeah. So we probably.
Yeah, I don't know about a fuel station here. Let me look at my map.
What I think we should probably do is I'm just going to park the tractor here, and you can send the interns down to pick it up.
Okay, yeah, there it is. It's beside the. There's a fuel spot beside the store there
Let me just
somewhere.
check that because it'd be interesting. Someone's going to be watching this, going, "No, why didn't they drive down and check it?" So this is like a mod review for you. So I'm
I
going to
think
just
it's.
drive down and check it.
I think it's next door here.
Is it where you're standing? I'll just fly around.
Yeah, I bet you it's this tank here. I'd never tried to fill in fuel on this map yet.
No, that's why I'm here. I'm your guinea pig. Oh, start filling. Oh, yes, it's this huge, big yellow box here.
It's this giant yellow marked box.
Yeah.
I
So
wonder where it is.
If you could get your tractor, for anyone watching that doesn't know, if you can get your tractor or harvester into this little yellow box here, huge yellow box, you're all set.
Oh, Oh, that's funny because you see some big maps like Stone, not to say that is Stone Valley, but like Stone Valley perhaps, or some of these 2X maps that you're trying to find something and there's no markers and it's like, or it'll have a little, it's, and you get a little map like this
That's
with
kind
a
of just working away.
massive giant marker.
Well, big and all as it was, I couldn't find it.
Well, that's the one thing about a small map. If you look at if you're looking at your PDA, everything's all jammed up in the middle here, and all the names are on
Yeah,
top of each other and the icons. And
yeah, it's hard to find them then.
yeah, so it's a little bit tough to pick out something if they're all in close like that. But I mean, if that's my only complaint, I don't think that's too bad.
I know, yeah, sure. We don't, yeah. Well, this has been brilliant. Thanks for having me.
All
I
right,
really enjoyed
yes,
it. I
I've.
hope we can do it again sometime.
Oh, the invitation is open, so
I
whenever
will
you want.
talk. We have a saying here in Ireland, and it's "I'll talk for Ireland," and it means you have the gift of the gab, and I can talk like.
Oh, nah,
I,
that's the key to good YouTube, I think.
yeah, we'll see how it goes. Someday when I have 100 million subscribers, I won't forget you. Like,
Yeah, you'll just share a few with me, I hope.
yeah, of course I will. I'll be like, listen, gotta check this guy out, Looney Farm Guy. No, I really enjoy watching your videos. I do enjoy it. I don't do it just for the sake of doing it. I actually really enjoy it. And my wife knows who you are by your voice, but
Oh,
she's like, oh, Looney Farm Guy, because I'll have it on in the background as I'm making dinner or do it. I'm always
oh
watching something
well.
like.
Well, I appreciate. Thank you. I appreciate it. I truly do. And of course,
No, thank
anyone who
you.
watches. And likewise. And I just want to say to anyone watching this right now is we both. I'm sure I talk for you. We all appreciate all the support, suggestions, love we get from our viewers, and yeah, there we go.
100%. Thanks very much.
All right. Well, that's it. We're going to wrap it up. And Brian Brou Royalty, check him out on YouTube. It's got lots of great stuff out there. And I'm Looney Farm Guy, and this is the Looney Farm. Till remember, what do we remember? It's just a game.
It's just a game. Yeah, have
Have
fun.
fun. Till next time. Bye for now.